My name is Amanda Leathers, and I'm going to be demonstrating the skull anatomy for Dr. Nahel Awadallah, Bio 165, I-5 online. This is my list of 25 terms to be identified in the skull anatomy. I'll be doing that using my skeletal model. Okay. The frontal bone is this bone right here. This is the frontal bone. These are the two parietal bones. The temporal bone is here. The occipital bone is in the back of a skeletal model. The occipital bone is here. The coronal suture is in the front and separates the frontal bone from the parietal bones. It's here. This is the coronal suture. Perpendicular to that, separating the two parietal lobes, is the sagittal suture. The squamous suture is on the side here, and it separates the temporal lobe from the occipital lobe. This is a squamous suture. The lambdoid suture is in the back by the occipital bone, and it separates the occipital bone from the two parietal lobes here. This is the lambdoid suture. The nasal bone is back on the anterior surface of the skull. The nasal bone is here. It's pretty much the nose here. The maxilla bone is right here where the gums should be. Whoops. Where the gums should be. The mandible is the lower jaw. This is the only movable part of the skull. The mental foramen is here. Right there. It's a depression on the lower aspect of the mandible. The mandibular ramus is here. It's the longer, wider portion of the posterior end of the mandible. The mandibular notch is here. It's up in the joint space. This is the mandibular notch. This is the mandibular condyle, and this is the coronoid process of the mandible. Okay. The zygomatic bone is here. More or less, it's the cheekbone, and it forms the zygomatic arch. The sphenoid bone is here. It's almost directly in front of the temporal, the temporal bone. The crista galli is in. If you remove the calvarium, you can see the crista galli. It's a portion of the ethmoid bone, and that would be this raised area right here. Okay, the lacrimal bone is inside the orbital socket, and it's right here. This is the lacrimal bone. It's a fairly small bone. It's on the it's posterior to the nasolacrimal canal. The supraorbital foramen is here. This is where the eyebrows should be located. Infraorbital foramen is just below the eye socket. The superior orbital fissure is on the inside, about right here. The inferior orbital fissure is on the inside, just off to the side and below, here. And the foramen magnum, last but not least, is where this screw is coming through at the top. It's supposed to be where the base of the brain would meet with the spinal cord. Thank you.